Sonos S2 app version 80.03 for the end of June. So the last update came in on the 24th of June. That was the Tuesday that just passed. And at Android, it is at version 80.03.04. And for iOS, it's at 80.03.07. So there's a slight mismatch in the version number between the two OS, but let me give you the upfront summary for this version. Now, if you have not updated in the whole of June because how bad the S2 app is, or at least if you have not updated in the past 2 weeks or so, then sure, by all means, go ahead and update the S2 app. I'm sure there are sets of issues that replace the older issues that they fixed, and the app isn't exactly how you want it today, but it is in a slightly better place. Now, major things that came back with this version, the alarms are now back, the sleep timer is now available, and True Play is now fixed. Well, the volume indicators are also back and other small bugs are being fixed. Now, I have had some trouble with moving the speakers around and adding the speakers back, but ultimately they kind of get resolved with either a forced close of the app or resetting the speaker to factory default. Now, this is not the ideal setup because most users may not be savvy enough to actually handle that. And when you buy into a premium system like the Sonos ecosystem, you do want a seamless experience that you don't have to jump through hoops to get that resolved. But overall, the app is in a better place. So if you have not updated as of now, the end of June, by all means, go ahead. And what is this thing about Sonos saying that they wanted to align the version number, so they jumped from, I think it was like 16 point something, all the way to 80 point something. Right now, iOS is 80.03.07, Android is 80.03.04. Where is the version alignment? And the speakers are on firmware 16.2, mind you. Well, they have been doing very frequent updates every week, in fact. Get it together, Sonos, okay? Go with sort of major version release, 80.1, 80.2, 80.3. Do a monthly release with meaningful fixes and new features rather than trying to patch week after week. I know you are in a bad place right now because you do have to help people get through and you want to do it as fast as possible. So I've never seen you guys so hardworking before. Keep it up. Just be consistent in delivering a quality product, a quality software for us Sonos users. So in about 4 weeks time, at the end, towards the end of July, I will probably revisit this app again and I want to see where they are 4 weeks later. It's been about almost 2 months since the 7th of May release of the refresh S2 app. People are unhappy, and well, talking about people who are happy or aren't happy, I've done a poll. I will talk about that in just a little bit. So if you look at the poll result that I have put up, and quite a few of you responded, I would say that a total of about 33% of us, a third of all the users that responded, they are happy, right? The first two versions have been happy since the new version came out, or the new version of 80.03 actually fixed things that they were unhappy with. I am right about there. I'm probably at the 11% portion. I was frustrated before and towards the beginning of the month, yeah, but things are slightly better right now. At least I've gotten True Play to work. And about 27% of you guys are happy with the effort. That's more than a quarter, right? So Sonos, keep up the hard work, keep up the good work. Just be very mindful of the releases that you're putting out. Don't solve the old problems by introducing new problems. Just, go through the necessary QA so that people don't get frustrated. Now, there's still about 30% of the whole group of us out here, and this is the biggest group out of the poll, right? That Sonos shouldn't be disappointing. We are hopeful that Sonos continues the effort and resolves all these issues. Now, in the past issues, no matter how big the bug is, Sonos they do tend to resolve the problem within about 3 months or so. 2 months has passed, so you've probably got about 4 or 5 weeks left, depending on the number of weekends that we have. Not asking you to work weekends, but be consistent in our effort to deliver the best software that we can. Now, a lot of people that I recommend Sonos to, I recommend it because of the software, and that is the reason why it will do better than a lot of other manufacturers. I mean, I won't name, but there are some manufacturers with really bad software. Firmware was impossible to update. Pairing on the speaker is difficult. Sonos has always been easy and it needs to continue to be easy. That is the main reason why I recommend Sonos to most people. I mean, if I recommend, I don't want people to come back to me and keep asking me, how do I do that? How do I do this? The app needs to be intuitive. The app needs to be easy to use. And to end off the poll, Sonos, I have not abandoned Sonos. I actually love the Sonos Ace so much that I bought another set of this, but this time in black. White was outstanding, but it really brought a lot of attention to myself when I'm wearing it because hair color, right? Asian hair color, this is black, white on black, very contrasty. So, black. So people who come here and they take the poll, they generally weren't happy in the first place. People want to be heard when they're browsing, not so much when they're happy and satisfied. They'll just keep quiet. So the app now is rated at 4.5 on the Apple App Store. It's not terrible, but before the whole 7th of May debacle, on the new S2 version, it was at 4.7, so it's kind of dropped. Alright, so now I want to talk about the app itself, what has changed and the state of things 2 months later, right, for the S2 app towards the end of June. Now, a couple of things. The volume slider, the numbers are now back. It used to be obfuscated in the group volume settings, but now it's brought to the volume setting on the Now Playing page. Fantastic. The volume icons itself, they have visual, is either muted or half, or maybe a certain percentage, I can't remember, where they will show the speaker icon with two sound waves coming out, right, to indicate that the volume is loud. So visually, even before you start playing, you can actually see that the volume is high, and you might want to lower it a little bit in case you startle anybody who's in the house. Now, the other thing is that you can actually tap the speaker icon now to actually mute the whole system. So, well, kind of good. They did promise to fix the Wi-Fi setting, so the Sonos Net channel selection is now back. There's also support for the Sonos M and the Sonos Pod to configure both channels either in stereo or in mono configuration, depending on how you have it set up at home. The sleep timer, it is also back. So right on dot, Sonos said mid-June, they resolved it. The sleep timer is back, and you can set it to 15, 30, 45, 60, or even 2 hours, minutes I was earlier referring to. Now, the surround distance is also put back, right? So it is done. Even better, they allowed it even when TruePlay is active. Well, actually, I noticed that before, but in one of the versions that I fixed over the 1-2 weeks previously, it is now resolved. I think some of you are still having that issue where you have TruePlay enabled and actually you can set the distance of the surround. It is not supposed to be done that way. I don't know whether there's a good reason for that. I can't think of one, but not everybody is impacted. In fact, for my system, when I enable TruePlay, the surround distance is not actually adjustable. You can reset it though. So I think maybe if you reset it, you can change it. I don't know. But the best thing about all the updates so far is that TruePlay is now working. So thank God that TruePlay is now working. Okay, now what else needs to be done? So there are a couple of things that Sonos said that they will fix it and it has not been fixed, or maybe they haven't said it, but we do want some of these fixes, right? The first thing is the local music library. The local music library, the searching is still not perfect. It is probably not that easy. You can now go by folders, which is okay. It's not a bad thing, but searching, if you have a large local library, either in your Nest or some connected computer on your network, it is not going to be the easiest thing. The other thing that I've asked for, not that they said they will enhance it, is the iPad real estate optimization. So if you look at the S2 app for the iPad, it is actually just an enlarged version of whatever is available on the mobile phone, just, you know, stretched out. So a lot of space is wasted. You probably don't have to scroll horizontally that much. I would very much prefer if Sonos allowed an overlay of the groups of the speakers that you have at home, so you can use more space to control things without having to tap away from the browser screen. And snoozing of the alarm, I don't believe it has been implemented. I haven't seen that anywhere, but they did mention that they will put it in. It has not been in yet. One important thing is queue management, and this, I left it to the last point for the whole video. Queue management is super important, right? Because right now, it's kind of half done. Initially, they couldn't even play back next or add to the end of the queue. It used to replace the entire queue, even if you wanted to queue in one song. So that is kind of fixed, but you know, you have a whole queue. You cannot just reshuffle the queue. So that needs to be fixed. it shouldn't be that difficult. Almost every other music streamer or player app allows some form of sorting of the queue or rearrangement of the songs in the queue. Now, Sonos, I know we can go and use any other app, Spotify, Apple Music, and then cast it to our Sonos speakers through AirPlay, but we do need your app right now at the current moment, because if we want Atmos music from Apple Music, we do need to use your app to pull that Atmos track. If we use Apple Music, at least for the moment today in June of 2024, when we cast over AirPlay, it does not support Atmos, right? It may change because Apple has announced in WWDC 2024 that they're going to allow Atmos over AirPlay, but not sure whether it's limited by hardware or not. But right now, the only way that you can play Atmos music is via the Sonos S2 app. So we do need your app. You need to get your act together for the app. All right, so that is where we are for the Sonos S2 app. Personally, I'm not terribly displeased with the app right now. It kind of works. A lot of things are better. Things don't break as often. I did have a bit of trouble adding the speakers back, but otherwise things are all right. I wouldn't say good. I'm reserving the good for my next video in about a month's time. Now, if you want to know what else was wrong with the app, maybe you want to check out this video right here, or if you want to hear about what I'm gushing about for the Sonos Ace. Let me know if you want me to do a comparison between the black and the white, although I don't suspect there will be much to say, but in upcoming videos, I will be talking about the Sonos Ace in black and in white, and I'll see you in one of these videos.